What's going on, Jerome's? Happy Sunday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. Sorry for the delay. He sees you when you're pooping. Daddy was out last night just enjoying life. That's what we do. Someone also who is enjoying life is Grant Udinski, a Vikings assistant OC and assistant quarterbacks coach. Just got his third OC interview. Buccaneers, we completed a virtual interview with Grant Udinski for our OC position. Now, the Bucs OC position is open now because of Liam Cohen and that whole drama, him going to Jacksonville, whatever. But it does show that Udinski is renowned around the league as a rising superstar. He's only 28 years young, and everyone wants some of the secret spice of Kevin O'Connell and company. And Wes is under contract, and as well as it looks like McCown's going to be returning. So just grab another branch of the tree. That's what's going to happen. So he's in the running, one of the finalists for the Seahawks OC opening. We'll see what happens here with the Bucs. He also interviewed with the Patriots, but that obviously went to Josh McDaniels, so who knows. Someone else to know is that the Vikings, we've said this ad nauseum, free agency for need, draft BPA, right? And this year's running back class is going to be good. It's going to be good. So it's a need as well as best player available. It's a perfect synergy for the Vikings. But free agency, cornerback and interior offensive line, hammer down. Just get guys that can play at this level right now. You got the money, go spend it. Go spend that cash. And then in the draft, interior defensive line, a lot of great prospects. This is one of the best defensive tackle classes in the last decade. And this may be the best running back class of the last 20 years, where it's not tier 1 high end outside of Genty, but second round on, like there's going to be so many running backs from second round to fifth round that contribute in the National Football League. It's going to be great. DJ, this draft is so deep at running back. I just said that. They come in all different flavors. The prospects will have similar grades, but teams will stack them differently based on fit and need. Day 2 is going to be the running back bonanza, and the Vikings only have one draft pick on day 2. Yeah, but so obviously Genty is great. Amari Hampton is great, but for me, like specifically fitting with the Vikings, I really like Caleb Johnson. Scatabo, I don't know what Scatabo is going to be. I really don't. I saw a great comp of him though. Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, sort of makes sense, and also Sampson. I love Sampson from Tennessee. Really good. Also, Devin Neal is interesting. DJ Giddens is interesting. Ollie Gordon, Donovan Edwards. Can we get Donovan Edwards as a UDFA for Michigan? That would be a great pickup, given his connection with JJ McCarthy. It'd be good. But either way, the Vikings running back room, I say re-sign Cam Akers. Maybe you get something out of Ty Chandler year 4. Aaron Jones, it would have to be really, really cheap. Right, and also he has to know that his role would be significantly reduced, and then just go like hell. At a certain point, I know that the Vikings have other needs and whatnot, but if you're stuck at 24, you can't trade down, and Caleb Johnson is just there. Just take him. I think that highly of him, specifically in what the Vikings are going to ask him to do. But I guess we'll see. Also, speaking of interior offensive line, so this is a point of consternation. So Dalton Risner is a free agent yet again. Vikes fan page, do you think the Vikings should bring back guard Dalton Risner? His season stats per PFF, 0 sacks allowed, 16 pressures allowed, 0 penalties, 76.2 pass block grade, 57.4 run block grade. Now, all this matches up with basically what he did last year, taking over for Ezra Cleveland. Hey, apparently we should have kept Ezra because no one's better than him. But with Risner, sort of you get what you get, and the fact that he just hangs out as a free agent like all off season and also deep into training camp 2 years ago, it is weird, right? But I think it's a spot where good versus great, right? And eyeball test wise, the Vikings couldn't run on that right side with any consistency, even with Brian O'Neill out there. And I know that he was dinged with 0 sacks and a low number of pressures, but they were there. Right, and I like Risner. He seems like a good dude and a good teammate, but I don't know. Like at this point, is Risner a better backup? I mean, it's possible. Even though we brought him in with all that hoopla, that's because that's how bad the guard play had been over the last couple of seasons. But I don't know. Like He kind of is as advertised, and I don't think that there's going to be a land rush for his services yet again. So if you bring him back, you don't guarantee him a starting spot. Just like this year in training camp when it was a three-way race and then everyone sucked. It was Brandel, Ingram, and Reisner competing for 2 spots, and they were all terrible. It is what it is. But maybe it is a spot where, hey, if you improve center, all of a sudden the guard positions get better. But I don't know. Like, I'm much more enamored with Trey Smith one time. That's it. Also, of course, one of the big stories of last week was Pete Carroll getting hired by the Raiders. 73-year-old. He's just old. He's just too old. Nah, Pete's legit. But, of course, he and Russell Wilson, they had some great moments there in Seattle. It didn't end the greatest, but apparently they've made up. And Russ is a free agent. And him reuniting with Pete with the Raiders, it does fit their motif. Now, the Raiders are seen as a potential landing spot for slinging Sammy Darnold, a.k.a. America's quarterback. So the other favorite to land Sam Darnold, so Russ, if he leaves Pittsburgh, and there have been some talk that Tomlin would like to bring Russ back for another season. Darnold with the Steelers, I'm kind of intrigued. Now, I don't like it because Arthur Smith remains as OC. I think that he could ruin our boy. Look at how we massacred our boy. But I do think in terms of Darnold landing spots, Pittsburgh does make a lot of sense. I think that he would get a little bit of cash there as well. Is this a tag and trade situation for the Vikings still? I don't know, like that is really up in the air right now, mainly because Darnold diminished his value so much. So he might just sign the franchise tag. So don't know. Something I do know is that the Vikings need to add the meats in the draft along defensive line. And it's a lot like running back, where what kind of defensive tackle do you want? Do you want a movable nose tackle? Do you want a 3-tech with some boogie? Do you want some super strong 4-tech, 5-techs on the outside? I mean, we got them all, right? Early crush. Early must-have, Deion Walker. I love him, man. Trevor Sikkema. Kentucky's Deion Walker percentiles for interior defensive line. Height, 6'7.5". He trade Julius Randle, and he could play the 4. It's a backup minutes. All right. 353, 34.5-inch arms, and 10.6-inch hands, which is large. It's large, insanely large human. Plus, he can back it up. I honestly see Walker as a player that's going to. He's going to be a 3-down player in the league. And Kentucky, he just absorbed bodies and was able to push the pocket, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Like, we're going to see him at the Senior Bowl this week, and he's very much an early draft crush of mine. I'm in. Like, whether it's Deion Walker, whether it's Tyleik Williams, whether it's whoever, right? Whether it's Walter Nolan. I mean, there's going to be some really talented defensive tackles there on the board for the Vikings, and that certainly is a position of need, as well as certainly could be BPA as well. Also, something I need is Jonathan Greenard building a foundation for the long haul. So Greenard came over from the Texans, a 4-year, $72 million deal. It was number 3 in the league in pressures. I had 12 sacks this year. It was a great leader, bringing energy and just really getting after things. And also, he was super clutch, because there's one thing, like, if you get a couple sacks in garbage time, they all count the same, but Greenard would get pressures and sacks when they needed it, like deep in the fourth, overtime. That's what he did, man. But he posted on the gram, building a new house here in Minnesota, and it's great that he's putting on. Also, he's wearing a Brock Faber jersey on National Hockey Day. Let's go. Let's go. So, yeah, Greenard here for the long haul, heading into year 2 of that 4-year deal. I love him, man. Like, I'll always love Danielle Hunter, but Greenard is a dude. He's a freaking dude, man. I love it. Speaking of something I love, the Wolves are bringing back. Right, so they beat the Nuggets' ass just like they did in the playoffs last year. But Anthony Edwards rounding back into form. This has been a weird year, really, just really disappointing all the way around. I didn't like the cat trade, and just sort of is what it is. But Ant is back mainly because J.J. McCarthy was courtside, which is good to see, and the formerly great hair club until JJ got his stupid haircut. Yeah, but McCarthy and Andrew Van Ginkel sitting courtside. Now, there's a couple things going on here. I love all the people behind them in frame. They're just trying to look away, so they're not just staring at the photographer. Because, I mean, this is what happens. Like pregame, they're out taking pictures. It is very noticeable. With those $3,000 cameras, and you just don't want to be the equivalent of posterize. You just don't want to be staring like, which would be kind of funny, right? But JJ McCarthy. So McCarthy's wearing those Nike boots that look like Tim's. It's kind of great. AVG rocking the Jordan 4s. Love that he pays homage to the old school. Plus, he got half a beer underneath him. Now, if he's on the Jumbotron, he'd probably have to chug that, right? But either way, looking good. I love it. It's fantastic. Also fantastic is this. Emily Liker of the Strib. JJ got in on the fourth quarter T-shirt toss action and gave the upper 100 level seats a chance they might not normally have had. So JJ McCarthy rehab update, slinging some T-shirts. I love it. And he's an absolute fan favorite. Hey, that's not bad for being down 20 pounds due to surgery. Also, there's got to be video of him throwing those T-shirts. We can critique his form and see where he's at in his rehab. It would be good to go. But now I feel like McCarthy just gets it. He just gets it. Got a future franchise quarterback. That's right, baby. Today, whatever. Like I like Championship Sunday. Which teams are going to go to the Super Bowl, and I don't know. So first off, anyone but the Eagles, I don't care. Like even if the Chiefs win, and even if the refs help them, whatever. At this point, three-peat, sure, blah 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 blah. Anyone but the Eagles. Also, I don't want to see the Eagles in the Super Bowl at all. So full-on communism again. And Jaden Daniels is the truth, and I feel like it's actually a benefit to him and this team that they don't know what they don't know. So they're just out there playing ball. And which is great. And they're playing a division rival, Philly. They beat the Eagles the last time they played them. Jalen Hurts hasn't been right since that concussion. Yeah, Saquon is going to be that dude, and the Eagles' offensive line is legit, and the Eagles' defense is pretty damn good too. But I don't care. I do not care. Conley's going to Philly, and it's reverse 38-7. It should be good. And then late game, you got the Bills and the Chiefs. Now, obviously, this is everything for the Bills and the Chiefs. So I know that everyone makes a big deal about the Chiefs and the refs and the refs and the ref and the refs, but Mahomes is still the GOAT. Mahomes is still approaching GOAT status because if this game comes down to one drive, which a lot of games do, I mean, it's not going to be the refs. It's going to be Mahomes. Do, touchdown. Like, even though this has not been a picturesque Mahomes season and the Chiefs offense has been looking average throughout most of the year, if they need one drive, they're going to get that one drive. And that's greatness, right? And also that Chiefs D, how about that D, baby? The Chiefs defense doesn't get enough credit for being as good as it is. Spags and crew, they got that defense playing legit. Chris Jones is still a problem. Trent McDuffie might be the most underrated cornerback in the National Football League, so we'll see. And the Bills, the Bills is Josh Allen against the world. Josh Allen, a little bit of James Cook, and we'll see. Like I don't understand why Bills Mafia is hell-bent on destroying all those tables. Those tables are $90 a piece. I mean, come on. What a waste. But it would be great to see the Bills. Well, hold on. So the poopy fan in me, Vikings own 4 in Super Bowls, Bills own 4 in Super Bowls. Part of me wants the Bills to go to the Super Bowl and then lose, just so that they're 0-5. We are so much better since we are 0-4. Or something like that. But for me, the dream matchup would be Commies and Bills. Rematch of the 91 Super Bowl that was here in the Metrodome. But anyone but the Eagles. That's all that I want. The Eagles do not deserve it. The Eagles are ass. Thank you. And Jaden Daniels one time. Skol SU. Get it done. Bring it home for Justin Jefferson. Let's do it. But that's it. Vikings News Dump this beautiful Sunday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol. Production value.